Risk is an element that's often associated with entrepreneurship. And as I give lectures and speak on panels about entrepreneurship, the topic of risk always comes up. And so we want to talk about that, and we want to deconstruct this a bit, and we want to talk about risk in the context of the tendencies of entrepreneurs to take risk. We want to examine why entrepreneurs engage in risk, and we want to discuss some ways to accurately assess and manage risk. So strategic entrepreneurial decisions are inherently risky. We're doing things that are new. We don't know the outcomes. We're trying to solve difficult problems. We're working in high consequence environments. And we also want to recognize that risk is often in the eye of the beholder. And we're going to talk about what that means. So do entrepreneurs show higher natural tendencies to take risk? In other words, do entrepreneurs seek risk at a higher rate than anyone else? Well, research time and time again tells us no. That the consensus among researchers is that there's no difference in the risk tendency of the desire to pursue risky activities among entrepreneurs versus managers or non-entrepreneurs. What is different is the perception of risk. So there are other factors that are motivating entrepreneurs to start ventures besides their risk propensity. Now we can look at entrepreneurs like Elon Musk and Tesla that saw an opportunity with PayPal, had tremendous success, took more than $200 million of his own assets, virtually all of his wealth from PayPal, and invested that into Tesla. And at one time, in 2010, mathematically was broke. And how does a 100 millionaire a few times over become broke? Well, they put all their money into a risky venture. But again, risk in the eye of the beholder. What he's done since then is grow the company at the time of this slide deck creation to $123 a share. And I expect in the future twice that, perhaps 3 times that. And we see that he's back on the path. A few years after being broke, of being not only a 100 millionaire a few times over, but a billionaire based on the success of Tesla and the expected success of Tesla. So why do this? Well, in his case, he saw an opportunity. He saw the opportunity of electric vehicles, and he did not see that as the risky proposition that many others would see it. So why do they engage in risk? Well, they might lack the necessary information to make a good decision. They might have some inside view or some insights that make them think they can accomplish what others couldn't accomplish. They might not be dissuaded by past situations where others failed. And we tend to have some inclination towards a positive outcome. So when you look at this and you think about this with Elon Musk, why not electric vehicles? Why not a nice looking vehicle that performs better than a gasoline vehicle, that is cheaper to maintain, and that in time might be even cheaper to build when you remove many of the parts that are associated with your gas vehicle? If you remove the gas-powered engine and replace it with a battery, if you remove the transmission, an electric vehicle is much like a light switch, or on or off, no transmission. If you remove the element of trying to maintain the vehicle every 3 months or 3,000 miles, the first scheduled maintenance on a Tesla, 100,000 miles. If you remove the need to put gas in the vehicle every week or every other week, it makes sense. It makes sense if you can build it that they will come, and for him, a less risky proposition than it was for others. So key influencing factors of entrepreneurs when they look at this are how high are the risks? What are the rewards? What are the consequences? And were all of the complex elements considered? So when we think about how to make entrepreneurial decisions, and we think about the role of cognitive complexity, it very much is tied to the individual's information processing capabilities. It's tied to how we, as the entrepreneur, see the risk and calculate the risk. There are a number of influencing factors. This element of industry dynamism, while perhaps a complicated term, is really tied into the element of what's changing. How dynamic is the industry? And what can we as entrepreneurs do to recognize the change and motivate that change? Another key element to think about is the context of multiple perspectives. Of can we look at the business opportunity as the entrepreneur, as the founder, but also think about it from the perspective of customers and prospective partners, as well as competitors. Not everybody's going to sit still as we launch our venture. So we want to think about what we're going to do, what they're going to do, what we're going to do, what they're going to do. So it's a chess mindset of thinking a few steps ahead. We want to integrate these perspectives into our decision, and that helps us manage risk when we anticipate what's going to happen. We also want to use some complex thinking and take a broad and deep view of the challenges that lay ahead of us. So in summary, when we think about risk, entrepreneurs are not inherently risk-seeking. Instead, they engage in risk for a variety of different reasons that are personally important to them, and it's governed by how they perceive risk, how they analyze risk, how they assess risk, and what they believe they can do to mitigate that risk and have success with their venture.